I'm not here to market. By the way, this is not a I'm not paid by Nikon for this. I'm not paid by Moza, to talk about this or this. These are just the things that I invested in myself, and I'm sharing my experiences on them. Hey, hello everyone. I'm JT Tebehadi, and this is The Navigate. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I'm doing something that I've never done before. I never thought that I'd be doing this anytime soon. I'm going to be doing a double whammy of the product review, and the first one that I want to start with, I'm going to keep this right here so that you can wonder what this is about. But the first one that I want to talk about today is actually in answering the question, and in fact doing away with the doubt that a lot of people have had, my friends have had, about what kind of cameras do I use to shoot some of the productions that I have actually placed on my YouTube channel and many other places, such products such as this one.
Leo.
Yeah.
Where are you? You need to come here, stat.
Talk to me, what's the latest?
The phone. About time, dude. I think he knows.
Chill, we'll figure something out. So, where is he?
Somewhere around the house, dude. I don't know.
Dude, was that really necessary?
Bite me. Your guess is as good as mine, bro.
Whatever.
So have you decided what you're gonna say to him?
Yo, bruh, I don't know, eh?
Kai, Leo, telefoni ile Kai.
Kai?
If the respondents have not given notice of their intention to oppose this application, an order should be granted in terms of the notice of...
So, any news from Cosmo?
One bad.
That idiot.
But anybody who knows Cosmo knows that idiot will do anything for money.
So what do you have in mind?
It's a little thingamajig's called money.
Oh, finally. Someone is putting their brains to good use.
At least I'm using mine, which is more than I can say for somebody. Anyway, it's on my...
Yes, and as you have seen, those productions are not really the best of productions, but they are the best given the fact that I have shot all of those with this little baby called the Nikon D3200. Now, don't run looking for this at any shop right now, because this was discontinued a long time ago. This is as old as the dinosaurs. It's no longer there. You don't even find the updates for the software for it anymore. So you probably pick this up for 3,000 rands. If anything more than that, it had better be very good. It had better be having some other stuff. But 3,000 rands, you could easily, or less, you could actually pick this up. And of course, when I bought it, it was not that much. But with the kind of cameras that are out there in the market today, anything more than that is rather questionable, for lack of a better word. This is a D3200, and it's not even a prosumer camera. It doesn't get more entry than this. Of course, there's a D3100, which is slightly below this in quality, but they're practically the same. Now, what I want to talk about here today is just to say that when I bought this, I was lucky enough to actually heed a call that said go and find out from Nikon. And then, unfortunately for me, in Port Elizabeth, in the year that I bought this, there was a course on what Nikon can do for you, and that's where I learned a very, very important lesson, that I might be having, and I was in that course, I was the only one who had the lowest body, the lowest camera in the like of D3200. But then I learned there that it's not so much about the body itself. Yes, the body is very important because the chip in the body, that is the processor in this thing, is very, very important. But with this thing you can do much, you can do a lot, and a lot of people are failing to achieve the kind of output that you can actually get out of this with better quality cameras, with more expensive cameras than this, because it's not mostly about the camera. So what then the gentleman said, the most important thing in this combination is the lens. In the US they call it the glass baby. So whether you call it the glass or you call it a lens, this is apparently the most important thing. And I tried that out, and I don't know if I've made much progress with proving that, but I've made some progress in that this lens is that lens which is called a kit lens. A kit lens comes with a camera, so it's not the fanciest of the lenses. In fact, it doesn't get lower than this. This is the rock bottom. And these productions that I've shown you, I've done them with this lens. Kit lens, original body, nothing fancy. I have pulled out the kind of production that I have actually pulled out. So then I came to a conclusion that the most important thing, if we were to go in order of importance, it would not start with the lens. I think the lens is number 2. The first is the photographer, or the person that is holding the camera. If you don't know what you're doing with the camera, it doesn't matter how expensive a camera you have in your hand, you will just make a mess of it, and you'll not get the things that you want to get out of that. So like I normally say, a lot of people would just think like, I'll just throw the money at the camera and the camera will do the work for me. It doesn't unfortunately work like that. And I should say that with that said, some of these very expensive cameras, they do take away a lot of work. For instance, if you get yourself a Sony's, the Sony Alpha series, I mean, those will work very well in low lighting condition. I know this one will give you a lot of hassle with the lighting condition. So I had a backup plan for that, and the backup plan for that was for me to create my own lights. So I use these cameras the way I use them because they were actually going to serve the purpose that I wanted to use them for, and I know the conditions that I was going to use them in. If conditions differ very, very heavily, then I would have to then see if I have to change the gear or the equipment that I'm using, or should I bring in other equipment that are going to actually begin to help me with the different shooting environments, in which case this baby comes into play. And I want to say that I'm not here to market. By the way, this is not I'm not paid by Nikon for this. I'm not paid by Moza, to talk about this or this. These are just the things that I invested in myself, and I'm sharing my experiences on them. This it's the only one that I have, and so that's the one that I'm talking about. But I'm not here to talk about Moza, at least first in the beginning. I'm here to talk about the stabilizer, handheld stabilizers. These are an amazing invention. They are a lifesaver in a life of a videographer who's using a DSLR, because these babies are very, very sensitive to motion. So when you start doing a little bit of a movement, that jerking will actually show up in your production, and it look terrible. Oh, there are those birds. Oh, by the way, we're living very close to the nature here, so every now and then you will hear birds chirping every now and then, so please pardon me for that. But hey, what can we do? We're coexisting with nature now, aren't we? So the weakest thing about these is that they're very sensitive to motion, number one. But number two, the more you have composed stable shots, the better your production, your final product looks, and the more convincing you will seem like you are as a professional videographer, So to circumvent the situation of having some jerky movements, these guys created gimbals, what we call stabilizers, handheld stabilizers, and I went and taken one for myself because it was going to be very, very important for me to start doing, you know, shots outside of the controlled environment. Lo and behold, little did I know that you got to do your research. Do your research, very, very, very important. Find out, go as much as you possibly can down to the reviews of the products. Go to YouTube and see what are people's experiences, because I can tell you now, gimbals are great. I've seen great stuff being done with many different gimbals. I'm talking about your Ronins, I'm talking about your Zion or Shun, and I've used the Zion before, and it has, you know, delivered amazing results. And I'm still using one of the first the Zion cranes that I had been having for a very long time and have never had any problem. So this baby was going to be giving me three axes on which it rotates. So it was going to be giving me some great footage, and all well and good. It did just that. And let me just hasten to say that this is not the first unit that I got of the Moza Acros R3. This is the second one. The first one that I ordered actually arrived faulty. It was faulty, so I had to send it back. And then so they sent me this one, and then I used this twice. And before you know it, that thing would heat up very quickly and it would drop. And sometimes it would like just do crazy movements. And then I was like wondering what is happening. Is it because my camera is too heavy for this? Maybe I have a long lens or whatever. I don't have long lens. The outside of this lens, I'm using a 35 millimeter lens, which is smaller than this one. So just boggles my mind. Why is it that this would actually give me so many troubles? And I went and checked on YouTube, and I found that there were 2 or 3 people that had problems with this, and apparently there's no one who's actually helped. So if you know anybody that can help me get this thing to work again, it'll be appreciated. Please comment there below on the video, on the comments below. If you know where I can take this. I'm in South Africa right now. So where can I take this thing and make it work? Because I didn't even know where it came from, because I bought it through an online ordering system, Take a Lot to be exact. That's where I bought this thing. So yeah, by the time I realized that this thing was useless, I was going to have to explain a lot of things. So why didn't I return it earlier and stuff like that? So I figured, okay, fine, that's money lost. So it's very, very important that you should check what you want. What I know is that your Ronins, DJIs, they actually delivering very, very great, performance. And so I'm stuck with this. But with that said, I'm not going to throw the baby away with the water. These are very, very important if you are going to be shooting outside, walking, motion shots and stuff like that, and create very amazing professional cinematic production. It's a very, very good thing. Music videos today, weddings, you don't find a wedding and music video that is done without not necessarily Moza Acros 3. I don't know anyone who's used it. I was the first person that I know in South Africa who used this, and so yeah, that's why I'm giving this review. If anybody else has a different experience, please do share on the comments below. So with that being said, let's put this baby out of the way so that we are left with this. And just to remind you, once again, this is a D3200, and once you go Nikon, I promise you, and you know your photography triangle, you will never want to go to any. But I should just haste to say that I would love to have me some Sony Alpha 3 at the very least. But I know that there's a Sony A Alpha 7 IV, and that will be nice for me to have. But that price is not very nice. But hey, it's not all lost. Because as time goes on, I'm going to be doing some more reviews every now and then. That's not all that I'm going to be doing on this platform. I'm going to be doing a number of things, but this is one of the things that I will be doing. So if you think some of these videos help a lot, please do leave a comment down there in the comment section. I'll really, really appreciate it. Signing out.